Hey, what's up? My name is Lori and welcome to my 30-day emotional fitness challenge. Today I wanted to talk about fears and how to overcome them and how to decide which ones to tackle and which ones to just push over to the side and recontextualize and let dissolve. So a few years ago I did a make peace with your past, and I had a fear of having people know my dirty little secrets, the skeletons I had in my closet, and I just decided to let that off my chest because I really didn't want to carry the shackles of that in my life anymore. And what's funny is once I admitted that and I shared that, I was instantaneously liberated. I no longer feared it. It was done, it was over, and I felt like I had lost 1,000 pounds of weight off of my shoulders. And fears are always going to come up, just like stress will come up, but it's what we do with it when it shows up. So I thought I would share with you a story that just happened today, which was, I know that I want to do public speaking. I know that I want to be a really effective communicator, and I know that what's in my heart wants to come out, and I need to be able to articulate these things in a very clear and concise fashion so that you're able to get the message as clearly and easily as possible. So that requires me to do some practice. So I signed up for Toastmasters. And today was my first session of just sitting in and observing what really goes down. And I was stunned. I couldn't believe it. They had a person timing, they had people grading, they had speeches, they had these impromptu things. They had so much going on. However, the structure was phenomenal. I was just floored. And there were some amazing speakers in there. And I felt intimidated. I felt like, oh my gosh, they were talking about having the visitors be one of the people that goes up on these, I don't know what the name is, but it's really an impromptu speech. They were saying, oh, we love it when the visitors come and we have them go up on and speak. And I was like, oh no, don't do that for me. I would just be stunned and stalled, because it's one thing to talk to an audience that wants to hear what I have to say, and it's another thing when you're talking to someone who's looking for ways to, well, first it really is looking for ways to help you improve as a communicator. However, it's filled with a lot of constructive criticism. And that just really had me getting into my head and really going, whoa, what am I saying here? And what will I say? And how am I going to be received? And all of these thoughts came into my mind. What if I forget what I'm saying? What if I stumble? What if I stutter? What if I blank out and I'm like a deer in headlights? Blah, 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 blah. But here's the truth, is that if I really want to be able to serve in this world, and I really want to share what's in me, I need to be able to communicate. And I don't want to put this off anymore. I have been putting this off far too long. So part of this emotional fitness challenge is to face my fears. And I'd love to inspire you to take a look at some of the things that are scaring you too. Now here's the deal. Fears are not a bad thing. Fears are there to protect us. It was put in place to keep us out of danger. It's our warning sign. Whoa, check this thing out. Evaluate, see what's going on here. And sometimes we can get paralyzed in our fear and frozen, and we aren't able to move forward. However, if you learn that when something comes up that scares you, for you to take a moment and ask yourself, why does this scare me? What is the worst case scenario that could happen if this thing did go down? And another thing that I like to think of is, if I were to look back on this and realize that I never acted on this fear, would I regret it? And does this fear turn me on and scare me at the same time? And that's something that a friend of mine had told me a while ago and said, Lori, if it scares you and turns you on at the same time, then you've got to do it. So you think about the end result. What would turn me on is to be able to be an amazing communicator and feel confident in front of any number of people and speak what's coming from my heart. And it would be terrifying at the same time to stumble over myself. However, I know that it's practice, 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 practice. I watched a DVD that a friend named Darren LaCroix sent to me. Actually, he sent it a couple years ago a presentation about public speaking, and he won Toastmasters 2001 and this competition. And he shared with me, or in this video, he shared, you know, how all these people that have ever done anything good fell on their face time and time and time again. However, putting yourself in a safe environment to fall on your face time and time again is ideal. And that's exactly what Toastmasters is. It's a place to practice public speaking, fall on your face again and again in a positive and safe environment. And that's what I love about yoga as well, power yoga especially, when it's such a challenge, but you get to practice being calm in a difficult situation in a nurturing environment, and then you take that into your outside life. Anyway, I can be rambling on here, but the point is, it's all about really identifying the things that terrify you. Like, make a list of everything that scares the bejesus out of you, and then separate them in the things that you can control and then the things that you can't control. And let the ones that you can't control go. You know, we can't control what other people do. We cannot control the weather. There are just certain things that we can't control, but so many times we're stirred up and preoccupied with those things. Well, what that does is it takes away our power. We're giving away our power to things that we have no control over. This is about reclaiming our power and going forward with our fears. So then once we get rid of the things that we can't change, now we can look at the things that we can change. What are the things that are within us that we can now address? First and foremost, learning the lessons. What is the worst case scenario that could happen if this fear came to fruition? If this thing actually happened, what would go down? And, you know, making peace with that. When you make peace with the worst case scenario, like moving or being homeless, and once you make peace with that, then it's all good. Now, chances are you may never be homeless, but once you make peace with it, you're then liberated from it. So make peace with the worst case scenario, and then look at the fears that you've got and the ones that have been calling to you, that something within you is telling you, move forward in this direction, even if you don't know how. And you get scared thinking like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but it keeps coming up again and again and again. That's usually a deeper inner calling for you to grow and expand and to make more of yourself. This is your opportunity, you know, and you think on that and think, what would happen if I actually did walk in this direction and I did start taking steps towards this fear that is scaring me? What is the possible outcome? And if you can see this amazing unfoldment for yourself, that is definitely something to start walking in. So I just wanted to share this with you today and really give you some steps and some tips as to identifying your fears, recognizing the lesson within the fears, recognizing the things that you can change, and also recognizing that it can be a call for expansion and growth, and really taking some time to walk courageously in the direction of the life that you want and let go of the fears that hold you down. So please go and do that. Take some time and identify what's scaring you and freaking you out, and see if these are things that you need to disregard or start taking action on. I'm taking action on doing this Toastmasters program, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of it. I'm looking forward to seeing myself as a better communicator to you, and you being able to watch me grow through my videos. So thank you so much for watching, and face your fears. Bye, guys.